Well, this is to Kohl's management. I wanted to just follow up on the meetings we had the other day and discuss social media and reputation or review management, to be specific. And again, hopefully you can see where we could possibly fit into this. Everything I'm going to show you is based on research, and I'll go over that with you. First of all, I just want to say I'm presenting this way because this way you can sit back and watch this when you have time. You can take 15 minutes and just watch like watching a show, and then you may have questions afterwards. And then the next time we meet, we'll be able to discuss these things from the perspective that I'm going to give you. So for reputation management, or as for reviews, most all of the customer reviews are answered by Kohl's, which is good. But what is bad is that the quality is poor, and there's ramifications to the poor quality of responses. And I'll be going over examples of that. And then for social media, the post frequency on Facebook and Instagram in particular are very consistent. However, the two themes only are being used in the content, and that is going to be the Humane Society, which gets good engagement, but the selected products and vendors that are from vendors that are chosen get very poor engagement. So that's one thing we want to go over, and some of the remedies, possible remedies for that. And essentially, in these two disciplines, reputation or review management and social media management, right now there's being a checkbox approach that's being used, and it's not effective, and it's really a waste of time and effort and also money. And so the question I'm going to be having for you after you watch the research that backs up a lot of what I'm going to say is fixing it worth it or not? And I think I can make the case that it is. First of all, reputation management. We're going to be looking at the current performance, and then I'm going to be showing you some best practices that are basically proven in the marketplace. And they're based on consumer behavior principles and, above all, derived from research. So why is it important? Well, if reviews are managed correctly, they can equate to a 15.4% increase in Google ranking. What does that mean? What does that mean for the business? Well, you know that. If you get 15% more eyeballs on your website because they can find it easier, it's ranked higher in searches, that's worth a lot of money. That's why businesses spend thousands of dollars a month on SEO. And another point is that 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as they trust the recommendations of friends. That is in spite of the fact that some reviews are fake. But it's a minority, and most people are savvy enough to be able to see through that. But remember that number, 88%, because that's a fact. That's not something I'm making up for the purposes of this presentation. And 97% of consumers will read reviews for buying decisions, to make buying decisions. Think of the last time you were on Amazon to buy something, you probably looked at the star ratings for the different products. Now, what is Kohl's doing right now? And the other day we talked about probably the worst thing you can do in the eyes of the consumer, and also in the eyes of Google, which is really what we're trying to impress, the Google bots, because Google bots are looking at quality. And I want you to look at these. I'm going to have a series of these I want to show you. This is the exact same response to a different review. By the way, these are right under each other. I didn't go searching for these. These were just back to back. And you notice there's an exact copy and paste. So if a consumer spends the time to write a nice review and basically thanking Kohl's, what they want to be acknowledged. If nothing else, say you're welcome and thank you for writing this review. The last thing they want to see is a copy and paste job like this. You can probably see the only thing that was changed was the name. It was great experience with Linda, great experience with Fariba. That's a cheap, ineffective way of running reputation management. So I just make that point. Here's another one. Sometimes these copy and paste jobs they've changed the first line. So here you have two really good reviews, and this person even cared enough to post a picture, and they should be honored for that. They should be made to feel valuable for that. And here you've got, we're so happy to see the great experience. And here you have basically a different first line being used. But then what you have is we are so happy to hear about your great experience. And here it says, we are so glad and happy about your new carpet. We have an excellent selection of quality products. We have an excellent selection of quality products, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Again, these reviews were right under each other. So what does that tell you? This tells you that this is a checkbox approach to this job. And this is an important job, in our opinion, according to the research. So you need to improve this, and I'll be showing you some other examples of this. But again, when the same comments are used, other than a different first line, that is not a good approach. And so we'll go to the next one. Here's a couple more I flagged. The carpet. So we have, this is about carpet and binding. We're so glad to hear about your experience with the Kohl's team. Here they say wonderful experience with the Kohl's team. We have an excellent selection of quality products. We have an excellent selection of quality products. The same. What they do is change the first line. And another thing they're doing is constantly selling. Instead of thanking these people and just saying something like, we really appreciate your 5-star recommendation. It means a lot to us. And thank you for mentioning how we matched the pattern on the stairs. And then just say, we hope you will visit us again. Thank you again. Just something to that effect. Don't keep constantly selling. This is very, very annoying to a lot of consumers. We have an excellent selection of quality products, and our professional designers aim to provide impeccable service to every customer. We have an excellent selection of quality products and professional designers. You don't need to tell them that. They already made a purchase. Now, you could say that you are doing that for the marketplace, that they could find it, but the marketplace sees this as obnoxious as well. All I'm asking is that you just thank them in a sincere way. This is about customer relationship management, or CRM as we call it, and there's nothing more important than an existing customer. You want to thank them, show them that you read their post. Another thing is always call them by their first name. That is so simple, but it's not done here. Daniel, dear Daniel, thank you so much. Dear Carla, thank you so much. Consumers want to be called by their first name. That's a consumer behavior principle. People like hearing their name. So you want to do that. And you also want to sign off, and I'll show you examples of this later. Thank you again from the team at Kohl's Fine Flooring. Okay, that's important. That because if it's a 5-star review, it has a chance to get into the search engine. You want to mention Kohl's Fine Flooring, and you want 5-star reviews to be in the search engine. You want them to be traceable, trackable. So I hope that makes sense. Oh, and then one other thing. There are ways of handling this. A lot of the reviews on Google are just 5 stars, but they took the time to do that, which is nice. 5-star review, they didn't say a word. You might just say, Leela, thank you for your 5-star love. Thank you for your 5-star recommendation. You know, they can think of something a little bit different to say. You don't have to say much back to them because they didn't say anything, but don't just keep saying, thank you for your 5-star rating. Thank you for your 5-star rating. Break it up, add some variety, some diversity to it. Then I'm going to talk about some other best practices. This was a bad review, and it's okay. It's okay to get a bad review. And by the way, bad reviews are a gift. And you might think, I hate bad reviews. This is a Yelp, of course, but why is bad review a gift? Because at least they're telling you something. They're talking to you. They're giving you feedback. What's worse is you get somebody that's really upset and they don't write a review and they tell 10 other people about it. You don't want that. At least they told you about it. It gives you a chance to, to recover. This one, I know Lauren did not sign this. This is not Lauren's grammar. We are sorry that you did not feel you got the service you deserve. That is poor grammar. It's awkward, and that shouldn't be used. This guy said, made the decision to go with another company, and honestly, just a waste of time. Maybe it wasn't a big enough job. All you can do at this point, you've lost the customer, but all you can do is try to recover something back and show them that you're human, show other people that see this review that you're human. Now, it's okay to have a bad review once in a while. As a matter of fact, if you have all 5-star reviews, consumers get very suspicious of that. So it's okay to have a poor review once in a while, but you want to address, do not say, please call our kitchen and please call Henry Brown. Are you kidding me? These guys already said they bought from somebody else. Is that serious? That please call his number. This was copy and pasted in here from, it was just it's just probably a post, how to answer a bad review sitting there. We value every customer regardless of the size and strive to excel on every client. That's not true in this case. So why would you do that? This is a better way to write it. First of all, we call them by their first name and we apologize, okay? We say every project, regardless of the size and scope, is important to Kohl's, and we are very disappointed that that was not the sense you received. We would appreciate your emailing us directly so we can learn more from you and ensure that we rectify the situation. Here's a best practice. Have a hot link to an email. They are much more apt to click that and send a note to you than they are to call this number. They will not call a phone number. They will click a hot link though. We appreciate your candor and hope to connect with you directly. That's all you can do here. But do not ask them to call you after they've already done something like that and went to a competitor. You're just kind of playing damage control. What does the market want to see? They want to see you're a nice person, nice people, that your customer care, this is not real, by the way, I made this up, and your customer care group is caring people. That's what you want to show the marketplace this. And this is what I see way too much with Kohl's reviews. It's just a copy and paste thing from another bad review. And so try to be a real human being, and that's all I'm asking here. And again, this is answering a positive review. Unfortunately, the first name wasn't used. We strongly recommend, the guy's name is John, strongly recommend that you call them by their first name. I don't have their review here. I just have the Kohl's response. We're so happy that Steve was able to help you navigate through such a large project. Our kitchen, our design center is a one-stop stop where our professional design, installation, remodel team, we handle every aspect. Again, you're selling again. You're selling, selling, selling. You don't need to keep selling. Just profusely thank them and just ask them for future business in a subtle way. Dear John, we're thrilled at your experience. Thank you so much for your 5-star recommendation. Just thank them. Don't go through a sales pitch. And we hope you will consider us again in the future should your needs dictate. Ask for their business. Don't just give them a commercial here. Ask for their business again. Sign the team at Kohl's Fine Flooring. Why? Why is that? Because we want this to end up in the search engines. Here, there's nothing that can go to the search engine that would be traceable. So we ask that that's a best practice and stop overselling. This is a training issue, and it's based on best practices. And I know, Kohl's has it in there. They've been doing it this way for a long time, overselling, but you don't need to do that. Just thank them. You want to establish a positive relationship with John, the person who wrote the initial review. You want them to recommend their friends, and you want them to come back. The rest of the market isn't really going to read your response as much as this particular person will. A repeat customer is gold. So we want to do that as a CRM strategy. Now I just want to show you some why it's important. And I'm going to go over these fairly quickly. And I've got the methodology behind the survey at the end of this presentation. And then, so how many customers received a response to a review they wrote? And 40% in 2020, 35% said they did. This was really influenced by COVID, but and then yes, some people said over half of their responses. Over 50 to 60% expect responses to their reviews, to the reviews they write. They appreciate it. They feel that you valued them. They feel that you are creating a connection with them, and they are more prone to use you again as a company. So most people expect to get a response. How quickly do consumers expect a response? Kohl's does a pretty good job with that right now. Although the content is poor, they do a good job with frequency, and they expect it. They expect the response within between the 3 days. It's better to do it the first day if you can, but respond the first day. But at least within if you don't do it within a week, the consumer will forget what you're even writing them about. They've moved on to something else. So timeliness is really important. Which of the key sites did consumers use to find information about local businesses? And this is 2020, which was the last data available. And they used Google, they used Facebook reviews, Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Yelp. I know Yelp is not real popular at Kohl's, but you still have to deal with the reviews. You can't let them go. And you've got to treat them, try to recover as much as you can from Yelp. The BBB is also very important. Kohl's has reviews on the Better Business Bureau site, but nobody has responded in 2021 to any BBB reviews, which is kind of alarming to me. And then TripAdvisor is more for hotels and restaurants, so not really relevant. But you need to get on this, and this is something that we'll talk about. How many reviews do consumers read before they get a feeling of trust about a business? And a very minor portion said only one review. Most said anywhere from 2 to 10 reviews. They'll look at them before they in order to build trust. They don't all have to be 5-star reviews. There can be one poor one in there, but the minority could be poor, and if most reviews are good. There's misunderstandings, things like that do happen. Do consumers read online reviews for local businesses? And always was a big portion. Regularly. So if you take always and regularly, you're looking at 60% here. So, and then occasionally another 20. So do consumers read online reviews for local businesses? Yes, they do, for the most part. How often do consumers read business responses? Here's the key, okay? How often do consumers read business responses to reviews when searching for a local business? How many of them look and see how sincere, how human, how personalized the approach was? And by God help us if they see repeating responses. That would be really horrible. It shows a complete lack of authenticity. So 40%, how often do consumers read business responses? 40% say always, 33 say regularly, occasionally 23. So a lot do, right? A lot will look at responses. This isn't me saying this. This is the research, which I'll show you later. So how do consumers feel about online reviews? And do positive reviews make me more likely to do business? Absolutely. That's a huge number there. So, and that went up in 2020. Do negative reviews make me less likely? Yes, they do. If there's a lot of them. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 reviews out of 20. I'm talking about if there's a lot of high frequency, it really does affect, and they need to be dealt with. I trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations from family and friends. Almost 80% do. And that is in spite of the fact that consumers are cognizant of the fact that some reviews are fake. Overall, they trust them. Consumers are getting smart about being able to sniff out fake ones too. So are the review platforms. And in this chart, I want to show you this because there's a strategy I'm going to show you later that 73% of consumers have been asked to write a review. And that's up 67% since 2019. Businesses are asking consumers to write reviews. It's illegal to bribe them, but it's not illegal to ask for a review. I'm going to show you why that's important with a case study we have. Does asking for reviews make a difference? 72% that were asked to write a review went on to do so. Guess why? Because these were happy customers. They were asked to write a review because the company, in this case, the retailer, understood they were happy customers. There's an approach to do that. You ask the consumer, you give them the site to go to and ask them, please share your story. Others would love to hear it. That's how you do it. And I'll talk about that. Review signals are so important, and review signals, as far as SEO importance is concerned, there's SEO, factors, but reviews are very important, and they're looking for diversity in answers, velocity, quantity, things like that. So here's some other factors that affect us in this discipline. There's no real distinction in consumers' perceptions of businesses responding to positive versus negative review. 69% are more likely to use a business that responded to their positive reviews. Again, we're talking about your responses. 70% are more likely to use a business that responds to a negative review. No matter the sentiment of the feedback, consumers want to see the business cares. They also want to see that you're tracking things, that you care about quality, that you're making steps to improve. That's really important. Another fact is, Don't be tempted into create one size fits all message to reply to every review. 70%, I'm going to repeat this, 70% would be put off if a business responded with the review templated response like Kohl's has done on so many occasions. You never want to, what it shows is you didn't read the review and you don't care. You're just checking the box. Oh, there's a review, check the box. Listen to the feedback, address any issues publicly and professionally, and be sure to give your side of the story if it's a negative review in a very polite, apologizing way. Never get defensive. It's always important to remember that responses could affect potential customers' behavior. That is, new customers' behavior. Oh, and by the way, if you want to look at Google ratings of some of the competitors, Carpet One's 4.7. These are Google ratings. See, they're all pretty good. Google tends to have higher ratings. You know, the average is about a 4.6 here. Actually, it's a little more than 4. It's about 4.65. Kohl's is a 4.6. There's no reason Kohl's couldn't be higher, have the highest rating of any of these. This was just a simple Google search. It rates them all. How many consumers look here and go, oh God, Carpet Club has 4.8. Maybe I should look at them. Or Carpet One has a 4.7. You know, so does Carpeteria. Yeah, 4.6. Okay, that's fine. This was as of yesterday. So we got to talk about this. So here's my review management recommendation. I strongly recommend that, and you may decline this because of past history, but they take Lauren off of that and say it's the team at Kohl's Fine Flooring. It's the quality team at Kohl's Fine Flooring. Consumers are comforted when there's a team in back of them, not just one person. Always call the customer by name. Always. Do not repeat. Do not copy and paste responses. Use an email address, a hot link to an email address like I showed you instead of a phone number. They will never call the phone number. They may communicate with you on email because it's much easier. They don't have to put everything down to pick up their phone. Now, this is something I really want you to pay attention to also. Kohl's average total number of reviews per month over the last year is 18 reviews. That's 18 total. And that's about 9, anywhere from 8 to 10 Google, 1 or 2 Yelp, 1 or 2 Facebook, and 1 or 2 BBB, maybe 1 per month. Some of those on Google are star ratings only, which don't even require a lot of comment. There's absolutely no excuse not to offer original responses. There are not enough reviews coming into you guys that you should not be asking whoever's doing this to offer original responses. If they get 18 reviews a month and they're copying and pasting to those, what are they spending? 20 minutes a month on their job? This is unacceptable, frankly. From a best practice standpoint, completely unacceptable with only 18 per month coming in. And I counted them up. That's the average. So you can do your own count on those. Ask for customer reviews for happy clients. Ask them if they would tell their story. That could be a phone call from a sales person. That could be, you know, when they're in the store, just ask them, especially if they're happy. Have your salesperson call them, follow up. And I strongly recommend you use us for this. I'm real passionate about this. I teach this at UC Irvine and UC Riverside. I teach this concept. And I strongly recommend that you would use us to coach your whoever's doing this on the best practices that are used. I think I showed you the data that backs up the importance of it based on the market research. Doing these steps and using these best practices will optimize CRM, customer relationship management. You'll get more customers coming back to you and telling their friends, and that's just as important. If they put in an LVP floor that's not going to be replaced for 10 years, they may not need you again for a while, but they will tell their customer, they will tell their friends and associates and family members. And of course, this also plays into SEO. The higher quality review, the better velocity, the better regularity of answering, the more originality, the better your SEO will be, and you have an opportunity of a 15.4% bump. This is what we offer our clients. I just want to give you an example. This is the review management for one of the hotels we manage. And this is just an overview that there was solid 5.0 average for TripAdvisor. We professionally manage 100% of the reviews within 24 hours. That's really important to us. Speed is important, especially it's really important to good and bad reviews. We challenged unfair reviews, and we typically, when we manage this process, we do have an opportunity to reverse certain reviews if they look suspicious. We do that, and we've been pretty successful with that. And then what we've done is we've captured key statements out of the reviews on the positive ones. And this is great ammunition for a management meeting at Kohl's. You know, this was a hotel, our favorite hotel, great character. These are some of the positive reviews. You want to give them the good with the bad. Tell them, you know, what they said in the reviews. Kudos to the front desk team. Love the in-house restaurant. Enjoyed the New Year's Eve party. So these were positive, but then we talk about the negative comments, and these are addressed with management. Wireless inconsistent, weak spots. We started to get a lot of these, and they ended up putting a new Wi-Fi system over it. So we took action there. The rooms were a bit worn, and this was during COVID when there wasn't a lot of money to improve the rooms. There just wasn't the revenue coming in. And that included dirty carpet, chipped paint, broken electrical outlet. So, but usually there's, you know, in the summer, there's a much higher level of these negative reviews. And that's really, so we offer this service when we manage this process. We go through and flag the good comments and the bad. We don't give you the entire review. We take key elements from it and put in a report. That's what we do. Now I want to show you what in action, what we were able to do with our client, and in this case, the Lafayette Hotel. We started putting in a process, a quality control process, and we were asking for reviews with happy guests. And they had about a 4.3 to 4.4 rating. They were rated 79th in the county out of 295 hotels, which isn't bad. It's in the top 20%. But we thought there was room for improvement. So we started using this where we would compensate the front desk people or people that worked in the restaurant, anybody. We would compensate them if they got a review. If a review came in and we would track it, that mentioned that person's name. It's a 5-star review. They would get a $10 stipend, every one of those. I think you guys have worked on that or tried to do it before. But this process, asking for reviews, asking the happy guests to tell their story, led to a consistent climb to the top 15 out of 295. So we're talking about the top 5% in the entire county. Is the hotel this good? No, they're not. But they just managed the reviews better than anybody else. 100% responded to. They went from a 4.4 to a 4.8. That put them up to this level. They so what did this do? This hotel was sold. The new owner looked at, they were negotiating prices. The new owner or the prospective owner they were negotiating price. It was something like 25 million, which was down because it was COVID, but it's 25 million. And they were able to, the seller was able to extract another $1 million because of this. the new owner looked at this rating and said, you know what, that is so good that I want to keep the staff in place, but I also want to, I just think there's a quality management movement there, and I think it's worth, so the buyer is convinced he was able to get his price, which is $1 million higher because of this. And that was because of our efforts. So that's proof of concept. And this led to a higher SEO ranking. You note that in a generic search of hotels in San Diego, Google looked at the Lafayette Hotel because of its great ratings and because of all the things we were doing right and doing well. They were number one. This is the number one placement for organic searches. All these other ones are ads. This is the first one. Lafayette shows up number one. And part of that is because that bump was because of the 15% increase they enjoyed in organic SEO because of what we did. So I hope I made the case for you about reputation management, because I think it's really important. And why is search engine marketing so important? Why is search engine optimization so important? Because when the consumers, the path of the consumer is when they're searching for information, you want them to be found online quickly. You want to be one of the very top organically searched sites, and that's what you want. I'm going to go over, because in the interest of time, this is going a little longer than I wanted it to, but I'm going to go over social media quickly here. I've got some examples that when Cole's team, whoever it's ARC, I believe it is, communications who does this, they get terrible engagement on most of their posts. The only engagement, and you guys know this, the only engagement they get that's worth anything is for the Humane Society. So this is Cole's. This is a recent shot of Cole's Instagram page. I've never seen numbers like this. This is five likes. Instagram is full of likes. I mean, if I got 30 likes, I would feel defeated if I was running this. All of these had very poor engagement. All these are all product posts. Then you have the Humane Society one with Lauren, and that gets traction. But you can't make a living off just that. Can't do it. You gotta position things better here. And this is who is this? Jackson Design. And you can't see the numbers because this is a screenshot, but they had a lot of engagement here. They had a lot of engagement, not average engagement here, but it's a hell of a lot better than this. And that's because they show people. What's wrong with showing people in your social media? I just can't understand this approach. I mean, it's just terrible, really. Because what consumers look at it, they go, what's with them? What's in it for me? Consumers want to be entertained. They want to see smiling faces. They want to see things that they're interested in. They want to see maybe an installation video, something about installation, maybe showing the products in the store. How can somebody run social media and not be in the store frequently? I don't really get that. But 80% of your content should be of interest. The Humane Society posts are this, 80%, but only 20% of the posts should be about selling. Kohl's tries to sell way too much. I mean, you can put products out there all day in your social media, but nobody cares. And I just want to show you, nobody cares. Nobody's engaging. They're not even looking. They're not liking. 5 people. one of these could have been a Kohl's employee too. So you need a different approach in social media. And so you need to find the balance between entertainment and selling. It's not just about selling. It's not just about showing product in every post. Consumers get bored so fast with that, it'll make your head spin. These are just some ideas that I put together. I created this from nothing. I went to another, I started copying and pasting things to put this together. But this was, just kind of interesting, showing how Kohl's started, showing their history, showing what the Marina Boulevard ramp used to look like in the 1950s before the Highway 8 went in. This was Highway 80, which was Elkhorn Boulevard now. And we used some hashtags and things. This is a generic team, smiling faces, show your sales team, highlight installation teams on your social media. Here's another one, meet our professional installers. Here they're getting an award. I don't know who these people are. I just found them online, but it's just an example. But this person is obviously an institution at Kohl's. Why isn't she in your social media? A friendly voice since 1980. Consumers, social media users love this personalization. And there's other approaches too, but showing what's new, maybe a tour around the store. Oh, there's all kinds of approaches. And maybe some storytelling. Consumers respond very well to storytelling. This was the yesterday today with the Titanic when it was, people don't know this, but this is a great story, probably more appropriate for Facebook than Instagram, which is, they're not going to take the time to read this, but this could be a blog. This could be a blog on the Kohl's website, which, by the way, blogging does help SEO. This could be a blog or a story Facebook too. This is something Steve told me. It's an alleged thing. We're not even sure if this is 100% true, but we think it's true. What the hell? Who's going to prove it's wrong? This is about Frank Lloyd Wright helping Hubert Kohl's with the logo when they were on a train together. Did it really happen? I don't know. Do you have to use it? No, but it is a story. It's a story that's real interesting. People like stuff like this. What's in it for me? Put yourself in the mind of the consumer. What's in it for them? And here's our recommendation on social media. I'm being completely honest here. Whatever you're paying your current company, it's too much. They use the worst possible approach for the job. Engagement numbers reflect that. Other than the Humane Society post, which they have very little to do with, they just post it. Engagement is the lowest I've ever seen. I've never seen engagement numbers that low. And I would either terminate them or reduce them down to 2 or 3 days a week. Keep the Humane Society posts without overdoing it. I mean, you do represent other things than that, but it is an engagement source. And maybe one or two product posts a week. The rest should be creative. Somebody should be creating these things with a smile on their face. That's what people come back to. They want to be entertained. They'll come back to the Kohl's social platforms if you're entertaining them. So, by the way, we can do this. We could supplement them if we had access to the platforms and increase the engagement. My thinking is you could cut them back and have a commensurate cut in their pay, and you could use that to pay us or pay me. And then you wouldn't be out of pocket. And by the way, this is the survey methodology if you want to read it. It was scientifically based on 1,013 randomly selected consumers, and that's how we, in November of 2020, and that's how we derived what we did. And that's the last page. I hope I made the case how important this stuff is and how important it is for your business. And I'm a market researcher by trade. That's what we do. That's what I teach. I teach marketing too. I teach social media, all that stuff. But but market research is sort of the core of what I do. So you've got to respect the voice of the marketplace. You can't go off your gut. You can't go off your personal opinions. You need to pay attention to the research. If you want a hard copy of this, I can send it to you as well. But I hope all this made sense. And thanks for everything.